Great! You're here! I'm PJ, and I'm gonna show you how the leopard got his spots. Here's my book. Whoops! I almost forgot my games. Say, if you need to quit, just click on my computer. Well, come on. Okay, a little to the right. Now lower it down. That was close. How the Leopard Got His Spots by Rudyard Kipling. Click on the arrow to start the story. Click on me if you need any help. Click on the arrow to start the story, or click on the hole to go back to my room. Click on the rock to select a play page or game.
Yesu lokuhlabana, Yesu lokuhlabana, zisho phansi, phansi kwesihlahla. Yesu lokuhlabana.
In the days when everybody started fair, oh best beloved, the leopard lived in a place called the High Veldt. Remember, it wasn't the low veldt or the bush veldt or the sour veldt, but the exclusively bare, hot, shiny high veldt, where there was sand and sandy-colored rock, and exclusively tufts of sandy yellowish grass. The giraffe and the zebra and the eland and the kudu and the hartebeest lived there. And they were exclusively sandy, yellow-brownish all over.
Roger, tower, this is 454, coming in on runway. Whoa!
But the leopard, he was the exclusively yellowish, brownish of them all. A grayish, yellowish, caddy-shaped kind of beast. And he matched exclusively yellowish, grayish, brownish color of the high veldt to one hair. This is very bad for the giraffe and the zebra and the rest of them, for he would lie down by exclusively yellowish, grayish, brownish stone or clump of grass. And when the giraffe or the zebra or the eland or the kudu or the bushbuck or the bounty buck came by, he would surprise them out of their jumpsome lives. Oh, he would indeed.
Sambeni madoda sambeni.
And also, there was an Ethiopian with bows and arrows. Exclusively grayish, brownish, yellowish man he was then, who lived on the high veldt with the leopards. And the two used to hunt together. The Ethiopian with his bows and arrows, and the leopard exclusively with his teeth and claws. Till the giraffe and the eland and the kudu and the quagga and all the rest of them didn't know which way to jump. They didn't indeed. After a long time, they learned to avoid anything that looked like a leopard or an Ethiopian. And bit by bit, they went away from the high veldt. Oh.
Mancala is the oldest known board game. It was first played in Africa. You can play with me or with another friend. Yippee! Click on a sign to choose easy, medium, or hard. You get to go first. Click on one of your bins. How to play Mancala. Congratulations! You win!
Wathola kanjani? Ingwamabalabala.
They scuttled for days and days and days till they came to a great forest, exclusively full of trees and bushes and stripy, speckly, patchy, blotchy shadows. And there they hid.
Yisu lokuhlabana.
And after another long time, what with standing half in the shade and half out of it? And what with the slippery, slidey shadows of the trees falling on them? The giraffe grew blotchy, and the zebra grew stripy, and the elan and the kudu grew darker, with little wavy gray lines on their backs like bark on a tree trunk. And so, though you could hear them and smell them, you could very seldom see them, and then only when you knew precisely where to look.
Kuthe kusenjalo
yezwakale indoda
asambeni madoda asambeni
asambeni ulandaba asambeni yemabalaba yemaqapaqapa yemabalaba yemaqapaqapa.
They had a beautiful time in the exclusively speckly and spickly shadows of the forest. While the leopard and the Ethiopian ran about over the exclusively grayish, yellowish, reddish high veldt outside, wondering where all their breakfasts and their dinners and their teas had gone. At last, they were so hungry that they ate rats and beetles and rock rabbits, and they had a big tummy ache.
sabhule sangoma esikhulu Baviaan.
And then they met Baviaan, who was quite the wisest animal in all South Africa. Said the leopard to Baviaan, and it was a very hot day, "Where's all the game gone?" And Baviaan winked. He knew. Said the Ethiopian to Baviaan, "Can you tell me the present habitat of the Aboriginal fauna. That meant just the same thing, best beloved, but the Ethiopian always used long words. He was a grown-up. And Baviaan winked. He knew. Then said Baviaan, "The game has gone into other spots. And my advice to you, Leopard, is to go into other spots as soon as you can." And the Ethiopian said, "That is all very fine, but I wish to know whither the Aboriginal fauna has migrated." Then said Baviaan, "The Aboriginal fauna has joined the Aboriginal flora because it is high time for a change. And my advice to you, Ethiopian, is to change as soon as you can."
Three, two, one, ignition.
Sakubona.
Ow! Oh. This game's the best. When you click on a rock, it plays music. Now click on another rock and see if the music matches. Hey, why don't you try?
Ngesikhathi ngwe
zisho phansi
uthi qaba qaba hayi nganjena madoda uthi qaba qaba
zisho phansi phansi kwesihlahla
hayi nganjena madoda
ngiyabasibonge baleka sehlathi hamba 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 uzasana
ngesikhathi ngwe
baleka sehlathi ngiyabasibonge
Salagashe.
abazibonke ngeke bangidide ngeke bangidide abazibonke ngeke bangidide.
That puzzled the leopard and the Ethiopian, but they set off to look for the aboriginal flora. And presently, after ever so many days, they saw a great, high, tall forest full of tree trunks, all exclusively speckled and spraddled and spottled, dotted and splashed and slashed and hashed and cross-hashed with shadows. Say that quickly aloud and you will see how very shadowy the forest must have been. What is this? Said the leopard. That is so exclusively dark and yet so full of little pieces of light. I don't know, said the Ethiopian, but it ought to be the aboriginal fauna. I can smell giraffe, I can hear giraffe, but I can't see giraffe. That's curious, said the leopard. I suppose it's because we have just come in out of the sunshine. I can smell zebra. I can hear zebra. But I can't see zebra. Wait a bit, said the Ethiopian. It's a long time since we've hunted them. Perhaps we've forgotten what they were like. Fiddle, said the leopard. I remember them perfectly on the high veldt, especially their marrow bones. Giraffe is about 17 feet high, golden yellow from head to heel. Zebra is about 4.5 feet high, of exclusively gray fawn color. Said the Ethiopian, looking into the spickly shadows of the aboriginal floral forest. Then they ought to show up in dark places like ripe bananas in a smokehouse. But they didn't. The leopard and the Ethiopian hunted all day. And though they could smell them and hear them, they never saw one of them. For goodness sake, said the leopard at tea time, let us wait till it gets dark. This daylight hunting is a perfect scandal. So they waited till dark. Then the leopard heard something breathing sniffly in the starlight that felt all stripy through the branches, and he jumped at the noise. It smelled like zebra, and it felt like zebra, and when he knocked it down, it kicked like zebra, but he couldn't see it, so he said, "Be quiet, oh, you person without a form. I am going to sit on your head until morning because there's something about you that I don't understand." Presently he heard a grunt and a crash and a scramble, and the Ethiopian called out, "I've caught a thing that I can't see. It smells like giraffe. It kicks like giraffe, but it hasn't any form." "Don't trust it," said the leopard. "Sit on its head till morning, same as me. They haven't any form, any of them."
This is my favorite puzzle. Click on a picture to choose a puzzle. Oh, that's a good one. Now choose how many pieces you want by clicking on one of my boxes. Click on a picture to choose a puzzle. Oh, that's a good one. Now choose how many pieces you want by clicking on one of my boxes.
Kuthe kusenjalo yezwakala enye indoda ithi ngadla angazi ukuthi ngihlabana ngani thula mnganami thula nje mfana konkoshe
So they sat on them hard till bright morning time.
thula nje mfana thula nje mfana
And then the leopard said, "What have you at your end of the table, brother?" The Ethiopian scratched his head and said, "It ought to be exclusively a rich fulvous orange tawny from head to heel, and it ought to be giraffe. But it is covered all over with chestnut blotches. What have you at your end of the table, brother?" And the leopard scratched his head and he said, "It ought to be exclusively a delicate grayish fawn. It ought to be zebra. But it is covered all over with black and purple stripes. What in the world have you been doing with yourself, zebra? Don't you know that if you were on the high veld, I could see you 10 miles off? You haven't any form." "Yes," said the zebra, "but this isn't the high veld, can't you see?" "I can now," said the leopard, "but I couldn't all yesterday. How is it done?" "Let us up," said the zebra, "and we will show you."
balega 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 sihlathini
They let the zebra and the giraffe get up, and the zebra moved away to some little thorn bushes where the sunlight fell all stripy. And the giraffe moved off to some tallish trees where the shadows fell all blotchy. Now watch, said the zebra and the giraffe. This is the way it's done. 1, 2, 3, and where's your breakfast? Leopard stared, and Ethiopian stared, but all they could see was stripy shadows and blotched shadows in the forest. But never a sign of zebra and giraffe. They had just walked off and hidden themselves in the shadowy forest. Said the Ethiopian. That's a trick worth learning. Take a lesson in it, Leopard. You show up in this dark place like a bar of soap in a coal scuttle. Ho, 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 said the Leopard. Would it surprise you very much to know that you show up in this dark place like a mustard plaster on a sack of coals? Well, calling names won't catch dinner, said the Ethiopian. The long and little of it is that we don't match our backgrounds. I'm going to take Baviaan's advice. He told me I ought to change. And as I've nothing to change except my skin, I'm going to change that. What to? Said the leopard, tremendously excited. To a nice, working, blackish, brownish color with a little purple in it and touches of slaty blue. It will be the very thing for hiding in hollows and behind trees. So he changed his skin then and there, and the leopard was more excited than ever. He had never seen a man change his skin before. Oh? What about me? He said, when the Ethiopian had worked his last little finger into his fine new black skin. You take Baviaan's advice too. He told you to go into spots. So I did, said the leopard. I went into other spots as fast as I could. I went into this spot with you, and a lot of good it has done me. Oh, said the Ethiopian. Baviaan didn't mean spots in South Africa. He meant spots on your skin. What's the use of that? Said the leopard. Think of giraffe, said the Ethiopian. Or if you prefer stripes, think of zebra. They find their spots and stripes give them perfect satisfaction. Said the leopard. I wouldn't look like zebra, not forever so. Well, make up your mind, said the Ethiopian, because I'd hate to go hunting without you. But I must if you insist on looking like a sunflower against a tarred fence. I'll take spots then, said the leopard, but don't make them too vulgar big. I wouldn't look like giraffe, not forever so. I'll make them with the tips of my fingers, said the Ethiopian. There's plenty of black left on my skin still. Stand over. Then the Ethiopian put his 5 fingers close together. There was plenty of black left on his new skin still, and pressed them all over the leopard. And wherever the 5 fingers touched, they left 5 little black marks, all close together. You can see them on any leopard skin you like. Sometimes the fingers slipped and the marks got a little blurred. But if you look closely at any leopard, you will see that there are always 5 spots or 5 fat black fingertips. Now you are a beauty, said the Ethiopian. You can lie out on the bare ground and look like a heap of pebbles. You can lie on the naked rocks and look like a piece of pudding stone. You can lie out on a leafy branch and look like sunshine sifting through the leaves. And you can lie right across the center path and look like nothing in particular. Think of that and purr. But if I'm all this, said the leopard, why didn't you go spotty too? Oh, plain black's best for a man, said the Ethiopian. Now come along and we'll see if we can get even with Mr. 1, 2, 3. Where's your breakfast? So they went away and lived happily ever afterwards, oh best beloved. That is all. Oh, now and then you will hear grown-ups say, can the Ethiopian change his skin for the leopard his spots? I don't think even grown-ups would keep on saying such a silly thing if the leopard and the Ethiopian hadn't done it once. Do you? But they would never do it again. Best beloved. They are quite contented as they are.
Animals can hide in forests because their fur matches their surroundings. This is called camouflage. Now you can make the animals stick out or blend in. Click on a pattern, then click on an animal. Click here to start again. Now you try. Spectrum. Google eyes. Plaid. Wood. Spotted. Dotted. Spaghetti. Flowers. Wavy. Blackish brownish. Hatched. Greenish grayish. Blotchy. Ethiopian. Change.
Sakubona.
Ow! Oh. This game's the best. When you click on a rock, it plays music. Now click on another rock and see if the music matches. Hey, why don't you try?
Gazikati ngwe
Baleka sehlathi.
Samveni mat
Mabalaba.
izilwane emhlabeni. Yinga nje namadoda. Asambeni madoda, asambeni. Ngiyabasibonge. Abangababili balanda emkhondweni baze bafike ehlathini.
Salagashe.
Credits. Laurie's book.
I don't know where I got the idea, but from a very early age, I wanted to be an illustrator. When I started to research leopard spots, I lived in Manhattan. The Metropolitan Museum of Art has an entire African wing, and that's where I went immediately. And I spent several days in that wing studying the sculpture and the masks and the wardrobes and the jewelry. And I was inspired heavily by the artwork that was there in the museum. You can very clearly see where the Ethiopian was developed from my early sketches, and then you can see where I developed it into the character of the Ethiopian, and then translated from this drawing into the finished painting. I just went through these stages. This is developing his body. I had some people ask me, Ethiopian, why is he so blocky and round? An Ethiopian should be tall and slender. I didn't have any preconceived ideas. I just wanted him to be lovable and friendly. And I think from the statuary at the museums, they were so blocky, and that's definitely what inspired me to go in the direction of a heavier kind of a body form instead of long and slender.
Mancala by P.J. Rabbit. Mancala is the oldest known board game in the world, over 3,000 years old. The word Mancala comes from the Arabic word nakala, which means to move. Mancala was first played in Africa and in ancient Mesopotamia, a country now known as Iraq. Mancala was first played. The goal of Mancala is to capture as many of your opponent's pieces as possible. Shells, beans, stones, seeds can be used as pieces. Mancala has become so popular that people play it all over the world. Cuba was a Milton Bradley game sold in the United States of America. This version of Mancala is played in Beirut, Lebanon. That's in the Middle East. Chonka is played in Sri Lanka, an island off the coast of India. Poo is played in Liberia, Africa. Bao is played in Elmina, Africa. Chongkok is played in the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia. Huawei is played on St. Lucia, an island in the West Indies. Calais is played in Gabon, Africa. Not so long ago, people wouldn't play Mancala at night. They believed that this was when the spirits liked to play. Rudyard Kipling. Rudyard Kipling was born in India on December 30th, 1865. He grew up in different cultures and learned early on that there was more than one way of looking at the world. Ruddy's parents sent him to England for schooling when he was 5. As soon as he graduated high school, he returned to India, finding work as a journalist. Kipling's first published stories were horror stories, and he sold them in train stations in India. He illustrated them and drew their covers himself. Kipling wrote and illustrated the Just So stories for his eldest daughter, his best beloved, Josephine, when they lived in South Africa. 2 stories from this collection are The Cat That Walked by Himself, which takes place in a time when tame animals were wild, and The Elephant's Child, a story about how the elephant got his very long trunk. How the Leopard Got His Spots is also from this collection. Rudyard Kipling won the Nobel Prize for Outstanding Achievement in Literature when he was 42 years old. He was a dedicated writer and a devoted parent. The worlds he created in his stories for his children are still with us today. Click on my ladder and we'll go to the story upstairs. Are you sure you want to quit? Yeah.